Hello, welcome. I want to take a moment to talk about a strategy that I am not only using in our sessions a lot in the last number of weeks, but also I'm using for myself as I work through a period of very difficult transition. So I know many people are in a time of transition right now, and that's actually what's coming a lot in our sessions is the pain and discomfort we often feel, especially when transitions feel not by our choice or are very uncertain. So I talk a lot about the value and benefit of allowing pain, processing pain, transmuting it by being in our bodies. And this is a concept that a lot of people can gravitate to in terms of allowing what is to come up in our body as opposed to resisting it. And it's something that potentially it is easier to feel in our body when we are processing pain that is either more tolerable or that we have some distance from. So I'm going to grieve the loss of a relationship from a year ago, or you get the idea. Something that there is some time distance usually, or there's a level of resolution to it. Then it can be a slightly easier to tolerate pain. So the question comes up is so many of us are in times of intense transition now, and it can be very, very painful, and a lot of people are processing very real pain. How do I allow pain that is present? It's right now in my life. I don't know my outcome. It's not by my choice, and it's just really, really overwhelming. So a lot of people then resist, and I know I'm certainly of this category. I can want to resist the pain that's present in my own life, and usually it is for fear of it's too intense, I can't tolerate it, or if I allow it, it's going to overtake me. I always visualize a tidal wave where people are running away from the pain that's present in their life, and they worry really if I stop and kind of surrender to that a bit, that wave is just going to take me out. So first and foremost, it can be really helpful to acknowledge that you have all the capacity you need to tolerate the pain that is present in your life. You also have permission to not fully go there and to not fully be ready to process that or to sit in it and allow it. One of the healers, the brilliant healers that I've been working with recently, gave me a gift of a very, very simple phrase where he asked me to allow 1% more. And that was a pretty significant shift for me. So what 1% more looks like is allowing some of the resistance that we naturally use to come up when we feel pain, but then softening back from that just a little bit. So what does the resistance look like? That can be, for me and for many, many people, a tightening of our bodies. So when we see that constriction come in, so there's some sadness or overwhelm or worry that might come up, and we constrict, it's almost like we're bracing for it. And what we're really trying to do is to push it away. I don't want to feel that, so I'm going to feel the tension of my muscles instead. Another thing we can do is just mentally check out. So up comes my pain and I just drift off and I go somewhere else. That's just such a wise coping strategy that many of us learned early in life. And it can be helpful, but if it's allowed to rule, it really does prevent us, and then we end up carrying the pain with us for the rest of our journey. So it's really important to acknowledge that while it can be helpful to check out, we need to come back to it at some point. Another way that we might resist that pain is humor. And so a lot of people clearly do this, and sometimes that's appropriate to a setting. This isn't the place for me to process it. I'm going to deflect out in humor. And then, of course, there are more destructive ways to deflect out of pain, which generally includes numbing of some sort. And this is where we see a lot of addiction, addictive behavior, whether that's TV, shopping, or substances, things that help us check out. So if those are those pieces, that's kind of what that resistance looks like, then in that moment, as the pain comes up, allowing some healthy resistance, so certainly not the substance piece, but in the checking out the last category there, but if we allow some healthy resistance into it, and then we just soften a bit. And so again, for me, when the pain right now and the overwhelm can come up, I can feel it very viscerally in our bodies, because our bodies are our sensory connections to the world. So it comes up from within in response to what's going on in our world, and we can feel it rise, and we can tense, and we can push, and then we can breathe. And for me, always, always my hand on my heart, 1% more. Just soften 1% more. I can feel this 1% more. And then I allow. And so I just kind of work with that a little bit. And sometimes that exercise is going to occur, and that means I'm just going to cry. It means that the anxiety might come up a little bit, or that overwhelm might be a little bit more intense for a moment. And I am going to observe it. I'm just going to allow that to be present for a bit, and then I can move. So now I can move on if I want. I can come back into it. I can take a few deep breaths and work with my body, encourage it to let it go. I can release through tears. I can verbalize, which simply means acknowledging I'm feeling overwhelmed. I'm feeling really sad. I'm in distress. And that act of observing just that little bit helps us release it. There's good scientific literature around the process of using our attention to name the internal processes we have actually cause the intensity of those stimulus or those sensations to decrease a bit. It's almost like your body says, okay, you've got the message. You've acknowledged that there's pain. We can turn it down now. We don't have to keep yelling. And then it might surge up again. So there it is. This is the 1% more. And I've found it really effective and very, very gentle to help us work with pain, particularly pain that is present in our life right now that we often try to get away from. So I hope that you find this useful, and I offer this to you as always in love and only love. Thank you.